Hello, welcome everyone to today's LinkedIn Learning Break, Compliance Training Success with Stockport Homes, presented by Litmos. Thanks to everybody who's taken the time to join us today, wherever you are in the world. Feel free to introduce yourself in the chat or in the comments and let us know where you're signing in from. And get this conversation started. Our host today is Litmos's customer Farrar, and our panelists are from Stockport Homes. They're the learning and development partners, Jade, Whittle, and John Madden. And we're really excited to get this conversation started. Myself and the rest of the Litmos team will be in the comments trying to answer questions. And we'll have about 10 minutes at the end of the presentation for a Q&A. So stay tuned for that. This will also be available on our LinkedIn business page, so make sure to follow us if you'd like to rewatch it. And we'll also have it up on the Litmos website, so more on that later. Now, I'm having a little bit of an issue with my slides here, so I'm going to probably stay off camera just to help with the stream here. Well, without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to...
Thanks, Liz. I think you might have been cut off slightly at the end there. But yeah, thank you for handing it over to me. Have we got John and Jade on the line? Hi again, Liz.
There I am. Hi, sorry about that. Let me actually bring Jade and John on as well, and I'm just going to set the camera and share those slides. Welcome, guys.
Perfect, thank you.
Good afternoon.
Hello again, John and Jade, and hi everyone else in the audience. Great to see you guys.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, I think we've got a little bit of time here in the comments for everyone to let us know how you all train compliance in your organization. I see the slides may have dropped off again, though. Liz, can you let us know if they... Oh, there we go. They're back. Liz, can you skip one along, please? Perfect. So we've had a little bit of an intro about who we are, but now I think it'd be great to hear a little bit more about who Stockport Homes are, what do you do, and yeah, if you could take that away, please, John and Jade.
Absolutely. So Stockport Homes Group are a social housing provider in the Greater Manchester area of England. So we were formed in 2005. We'll be celebrating our 20th birthday next year, so we're really excited for what we'll be doing there. And we manage housing stock across Stockport on behalf of Stockport Council. So we're known as a arm's length management organisation, or an ALMO. So whilst the company is separate to the council, we do manage the housing stock on behalf of them.
So we manage about 12,000 properties for Stockport, which is the largest by far. And there are 1,600 as well, housing associations across the UK. So it just goes to show we're not just sort of an isolated one over here. We are one of quite many as well.
Fantastic.
So our group structure is made up of 4 different companies. So we've got Stockport Homes Limited, which is our core housing services. So it includes our neighbourhood management teams, property management, rent collection, and support functions such as finance, people and organisational development, ICT, corporate services, data, digital, tech. So a lot in there.
Yeah, we've got one called Skylight, which is our charitable arm of the organisation. So it provides support for customers, for example, who live independently within their homes, welfare support, furniture support, find employment, homelessness provisions, and so on as well.
We've also got 360, which is our repairs and maintenance and construction arm. So they're responsible for ongoing property, management, improvements, building of new homes, planned works and repair works for both housing property and local community buildings and schools as well. So a lot of work.
Yeah, and we've got Viaduct as well that manages our home sales as well. So we've got quite a few fingers there in different pies, I suppose.
Yeah, just a bit. It's a hugely varied use case.
Yeah, lots of different compliance requirements across 4 different companies.
Yes, they all provide a different challenge depending on the job roles as well. So it's a conundrum that we're keen to crack, and obviously with Litmos help as well, we are getting there.
Yeah. So whilst we do have 4 companies in our group, our mission is to be one team transforming lives. So that's, we all come together to help transform the lives of our customers, the people in the borough, and our colleagues as well.
Do you find the central learning platform helps with that mission as well?
Absolutely, it gives us a central access to the data to find out who's done what's still outstanding, what people are engaging with as well beyond just the compliance. So what courses people are interested in and where they want to develop as well.
And we've learnt along the way as well with being a long-standing Litmos customer, in line with what works well, perhaps what doesn't, and I suppose the pitfall as well, just letting people, if we set compliance rules up and never have any bars to review or anything like that, then you get people not logging in for a very long time. So even the hit rate within Litmos is really poor. So we're continually working, since we've upgraded to the Pro package especially as well, we've not only created our own content, but sort of bunching as well together things like neurodiversity programs we'll mention later on as well. So we're trying to bring it all to the fore of everyone's learning experience within Litmos.
Brilliant. So do you think Litmos helps then you to drive towards the group aims?
Absolutely. So one of our big things, one of our main aims really is to deliver excellent customer service, which is driven by customer feedback and experience. So we can use customer feedback, the voices of our customers, to help us shape our learning initiatives. And then that can help us to direct required learning in different pockets of the business as well. So we've managed to build up our platform so that we can assign learning to specific teams, to specific individuals, or a whole directorate, or the entire organisation. So that's been really, really useful.
Yeah, we can really focus on, again, one of our group aims there is to provide safe and sustainable homes as well, within the neighbourhoods where our communities can thrive. So again, depending on the job role, because we have got really diverse job family as well, that you have some needs sort of more than others as well. So it's really helping where, again, we can design either bespoke training, or we can take off the shelf, I suppose, as well. So we're not just talking about your mandatory compliance where they've got to do, say, 8 courses. It's adding to that as well, and shaping the way we look for the future as well. So, for example, like fire awareness could be a key one. There might be a change in regulation. We can use what we've got now, but also tag something else onto that as well within Litmos.
Okay, brilliant. So you get to sort of adapt training as well as create your own bespoke training.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and we've used quite a few times the off-the-shelf content from Litmos. We've been putting that into learning paths with some of our own modules on there as well. So, the content is there, but we really want to add our message to it, and our stamp, and our chief executive and our executive leadership team have done welcome videos before the modules have started, so that it really does feel more bespoke as people are doing it, without us needing to invest all the time in creating something completely from scratch, which has been really, really helpful. Yeah,
and on the flip side as well, that there will be changes in regulation, guidelines, legislation that comes into housing. Even as recent as last week, we've got a few more now we need to look at moving forward. But a big one in line with the damp mold and condensation that we'll touch upon later on as well has really helped us sort of create, monitor, manage, and get everyone up to speed as well. So it's been a big win.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Another way one of our group aims is we want to maximise the impact of resources. So we're continuously looking at how we can grow, become more efficient and transform our business, and utilising the Litmos platform has really helped us to shape our compliance, to automatically assign content to people based on different rules, to have compliance reminders and escalation built in without the need for manual intervention. That's been really, really key for us, because we're a relatively small team for the people that we're supporting, and anything that can help us make our time available to do things that can't be automated is definitely welcome for us.
Yeah, it does help us work collaboratively, influencing locally, regionally, nationally as well, to achieve more, again, because there's such a diverse sort of job family within Stockport Homes as well. But again, like Jade mentioned there, leading on to make it more inclusive place. So we've got the off-the-shelf offerings from Litmos, bunching it into a package as well. We can add, again, we'll touch upon this later on, but like gamifications to sort of drive up sort of hit rates as well. So yeah, there's a lot of positive.
Brilliant. Well, we can get into more about the gamification and compliance rates on the next slide.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about your values then at Stockport Homes.
Yeah, so it's under what we call Aspire. So we've got ambition, social responsibility, passion, innovation, respect. And what we try and do there is fit each one within our not only our day-to-day culture as well. So we've got our values charter as well that we are in the mix of reviewing as well moving forward. But everyone should sort of live and breathe those values. So ambition, for example, is in effect we have the ambition and courage to not only challenge but translate those into a commercial success and brilliant customer outcomes as well, whatever that may look like. Because again, there are that many roles as well within Stockport Homes.
We've recognised the market is, constantly changing, technology constantly changes, and, we want to be an organisation and a team, John and I, where we don't just do what we've always done. We look at what else we could do, how we could improve that process and that service, and we do that so that we can dedicate our time to other things and become more and more successful. Another one is our social responsibility. So we're very, very dedicated to the local area. We have a charity of choice that we partner with every 2 years, and we do large events to support them. And we always try and do the right thing as an organisation. We're a service provider, we're an employer, we're a buyer, and we try to use our reputation and our brand to build trust, help build our communities, and empower people that work for us and live in our properties too.
Yeah, which can be challenging in our nature of business as well within social housing. So use it for the greater good. We have passion as well under one of the key headings. So again, we have passion for the work we do, who we work with together. We stay motivated, enthusiastic staff. And again, by making sure they're engaged in whether it be Litmos, whether it be bespoke or off the shelf, we're always looking at new ways of learning as well. As recent as this morning, we've been sort of looking at utilising Litmos again for more projects that are coming up in the near future as well, and how we can do that. So yeah, it's all heading in the right direction.
Absolutely. The next one is innovation. So we are very innovative in the things that we do. We're creative, we've got a bit of an edge, and we want to defy expectations. We want to be role models. We want people to be looking at what we're doing as an organisation. And I think we've really utilised Litmos over the last 12 months to change the status quo. Instead of everything being face-to-face, we've got more teams approaching us to see what more can be done through Litmos to save them some time, and taking a more blended approach. So we're not saying everything has to be face-to-face or everything has to be e-learning. Let's do some knowledge building before people even walk into the room to do a face-to-face session, so that you can spend more time on activities and discussions and really get people's thoughts.
The juicy bits of what a session should look like again. So if we are running something in-house, an internal workshop, in terms of the regulations and so on, that they can do all that online, but it also acts as well as a good sense check as well, that within Litmos we can track that they've attended it, that they've read it, understood in line with the training. But then when you come for our sessions internal, then they're getting the good bits, and it's a really interactive session that I suppose everyone gets something from it as well. So we can mix it up as well.
So you can give a sort of baseline level of knowledge before you have to take people through really in-depth training.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's in line with the sort of colleague voice and the feedback we get as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
From our colleagues, we would like it to, spend the time in there learning, I suppose, as opposed to an act, because we do have a lot of courses as well, I suppose, that we do need to review every now and again. So safeguarding adults and children being one of them. It might be the same message for a lot of colleagues who have been an experienced quite a few years. So we can change it up a little bit where, well, you know about that act or that regulation. So what we'll do is let you do that in your own time on Litmos. But when you come into the session, we'll focus more on the systems and how we're recording things right. Have we got the right scenarios? What would you do in situations, and get sort of group sessions booked up as well. So again, it's better for them from the learning experience.
Absolutely, and it caters to different learning styles and how people prefer to learn, because they've got that opportunity to sit in their own space and really take on board that information from the e-learning course, and then have the face-to-face opportunity for that real discussion. And I didn't quite understand that. Can you explain this? Can we run through a scenario that covers that? And it will really, really help build the learning experience and embed behaviours longer term.
I think it's really important, because if people aren't engaged with the learning experience, then they're never actually going to retain the knowledge, are they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we try to use it as well, because obviously in line with the way Litmos is built as well, we can put on there as well, like the policies, the procedures, the documents. So it's not just a case of a tick box exercise where I've done this learning and that's that. It's so you can refer back to it as well. So depending upon your job role as well, you may see a useful document that you need in the future of how to log something, record something. We can put videos in there as well. So if you're out and about on their own or just sat in the office and not sure how to do something, we're hoping that they can lean on the learning within Litmos, where we're housing all the help documents and videos.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, it goes right back.
Yeah.
So should it be like a reference system they can always nip back to?
Yes. 100%.
Yeah, and we recently had some support from our ICT department, who, so our tech team, who helped push the Litmos app onto everybody's work devices. So it was pushed onto mobile phones, tablets, because a lot of our operatives and people who are remote don't necessarily have a laptop. So it was pushed out so that people have got the app, so that they've got it on the go. If if a customer isn't in, and they've got 10 minutes to just refer to that document that'll help them do that task later on, it's all there and it's accessible straight away.
Because again, we've got the operatives who will be out and about, so the mobile phones is absolutely crucial for them. Will they check emails every day? Possibly not. Will they remember their Litmos ID, passwords? Possibly not as well. So we need to make sure that we can reach out to them. So again, the code, it's all set up with the apps on the tablets, the phones, because we are a mixture of, like, say, office workers and sort of on the tools as well, in vans and out and about as well. So we're trying to reach out as much as we can to make sure that in terms of compliance, which is what we'll cover off very shortly as well, is as high as it can be. And there's no real excuse, I suppose, to sort of not do something, because the way we've set it up with reminders, we've got manager levels, which we'll come to. It all feeds into, sort of what we're looking for. So compliance being, from a L&D perspective, an absolute must as well. So of course.
Very quickly, our last two values are respect. So it's about treating each other with respect, supporting and inspiring one another, and we definitely try and bring Litmos into that. And then lastly, it's excellence. Yeah. So we want to be excellent. We want to be good at what, excellent at what we do, not good. It's not good enough. But we want to be excellent, and we're really trying to bring that culture of learning through Litmos. We've got goals of it being a one-stop shop, potentially, of all our learning offerings being within that system. So we're really looking forward to the future and what more we can do with the system.
Oh, brilliant! Well, I've got a quick plug for you for Stockport Homes, what all the values have actually helped you to achieve. So yeah, just got to say well done to you guys on multiple years of awards. I always see you at the top of every one of these every one of these shortlists around best employer and things like that. So always nice to see it so consistent for you.
Thank you.
But then next we can move on to compliance. So I'd love to hear a bit about what was Stockport Homes doing for compliance training before using Litmos?
Very old school. So yeah, in terms of the system, and bearing in mind, in terms of coming into the roles as well, over the last 2 years myself and last year for Jade as well, it was a system that we sort of inherited. So we would basically pick up the baton and run with it. But then obviously we'll start asking questions ourselves. Is there ways of doing this better? So yeah, when I say old school, I mean, it was just all manual. So there was nothing ever built in. So we'd have like 6 courses, I think there were initially, that colleagues had to do, but there was no checks on those of when they had to redo them. So for example, safeguarding, again, adults and children should be done within an allotted timescale. Some people hadn't even logged into Litmos for like 4 years. So they might have done everything when they first started is what we found. And then after that, they would just sort of step away, which was in a way unacceptable as well from...
Yeah, I think they were doing sort of manual emails to remind people to do it, but the system wasn't built in a way that would automatically remind colleagues of what they needed to do. So one of the things that I did when I joined the team about 15 months ago now, I've worked for Stockport Homes for about 10 and a half years, so I've been here a while. But about 15 months ago, I started the journey of the Litmos Dojo. So I started to look at what the system's capable of, how we can build more into it. Worked with Vicky, who's our account manager, I believe the title is. Apologies if I've got that wrong. Met with Steve quite a few times, and it's really just for advice and support on how we could improve what we were already doing. So we started using the due date feature and the compliance feature, which allows you to set a date that people need to get the learning done by. You can set up automatic reminders so that people are getting that reminder once a week. And at the point where people hadn't completed the learning by that due date, it would then bring their manager into it. So the escalation would come through. And then if it still hadn't been done, it would ping a reminder to John and I so that we could pick up on that and find out what was going on. Was this person on family leave or potentially not with the business and we haven't been notified? So it helped us to really do a bit of a data cleanse on the system. And then we've got the automatic retake. So we've worked with our subject matter experts for them to tell us, okay, people need to do this learning every 18 months. So we've now got that built in so that at month 17, you'll get your re-invitation to take the course again and the reminders start again, and the escalation potentially happens if it's not done by that point. And we've really utilised the Teams function, so you can group people into different teams, and also the manager escalation, so the managers have access to that dashboard, which is empowering them in one-to-ones to have the conversation to say, I can see your GDPR training is going to be coming up soon, make sure you block some time out for that, or to see who's potentially not compliant and start that conversation. It's taken a bit of responsibility off us, hasn't it, that people aren't coming to us to say, can you tell me who on my team's done this? Because they've got that visibility and it's saved us some time.
Yeah, I think that's, again, just by maturing into what we can do with Litmos as well. So again, turning on the manager function there, creating the teams, you haven't got to sort of rely upon sort of myself and Jade there to send you a report, or if we do one manually and get it on Excel, for example, and say, oh, this is the naughty list of people who are not compliant. What we actually can do is go, review your staff yourself. You shouldn't really need to come to us unless it's an absolute need, whatever that may look like. Any questions, feel free to come to us. But in general, it's been very smooth where they have took responsibility for their team as well. And it's a good learning curve for us as well, isn't it? In terms of, do we need to go out to managers to make sure that, should we put a training pack together? Should we build something in Litmos as well for them to review? So should we get them on the dojo?
So I did actually do that. So I built a manager functionality course that is assigned to managers, so they can, step by step, this is what you can see, this is what you can use it for. And there has been some real good engagement from that, and people have been really, taking that on board. At the minute, we only use Litmos for our e-learning offerings. We've got 2 other systems that we use at the minute for our face-to-face and our sort of compliance in terms of health and safety for operatives. But we've got aspirations to bring everything into that one system so that all the data is together, everything's being managed in the same way, and we can really bespoke each of the team's offerings. So we've done a huge exercise this year where we've gone out to all our service areas and done a training needs matrix for every single role in the organisation to work out everything that they need to do that role well, to develop. And we're just in the process of building competencies into Litmos and job roles that can be assigned to people so that all the bespoke courses for that job role will be with that person at the time that they need it, which takes a bit of pressure off us, because at the minute our colleagues will get the standard courses that everybody has to do, and then we have to manually assign the additional courses that are needed or drop them into the team structure so that everyone in that team gets that course. So we've definitely got some plans as we go forward to...
Yeah, again, I think it's just getting used again to Litmos. It does take a bit of time, because in terms of the Litmos system, we've always used, or underutilized it, I suppose, underused it previously, whereas now we're getting more and more knowledge by coming to more sessions, checking on the dojo. We can create more compliance. We can then set up teams, for example. We can get the reminders done automatically, get the managers set up to review it. We can put the course in there. So we mentioned we're using 3 different systems at the moment, and it is a bit of a pain, but moving forward, we're hoping to move some of that onto Litmos again, so there's less reliant on another system. I'm not sure we'll ever get away from a couple of systems, to be honest, but if it just means one out the window for now, it's fine for me. But yeah.
Slowly whittle it down.
Slowly, yeah.
Absolutely. And I mean, we did upgrade to the Pro package a couple of years ago, which gives us the ability to access the content author tool and create our own content. And John had real great success with our damp mold and condensation approach.
It was really easy, wasn't it? It's the content author. Again, it was something we needed, if you want to call it quick, in line with the announcements that we received. We had a lot of face-to-face course going on at the time, but we needed to reach the sort of larger audience as well. So e-learning was by far the correct decision to go down. And it was, I suppose by reviewing like the dojo, just running through some mistakes that you can make at the start. After a while, it's like, now we can just jump straight back into it and create something. But it was a real success because it was fully bespoke to our Stockport homes. We did lean upon some housing associations in line with what they had on damp mold and condensation, and perhaps what we've got as well. And then we put it all into one package, and the success on that was very high, which we're very proud of.
Absolutely.
Brilliant.
And it all came off the back of a regulation change. We had to act quickly. There weren't providers externally that could deliver this. There wasn't an off-the-shelf package that you could drop into Litmos at the time that would meet the need. So it was a project that sort of paved the way for, let's bespoke this, let's do this the SHG way, and make people want to be engaged because it's ours, created by us, for us.
Do you think maybe some of the time saved from taking all these admin tasks off yourself and then pushing some of that out into managers has let you get into this bespoke training space?
Absolutely. Just the automation and the features that Litmos has that John says, we're still massively underutilizing at the minute because it takes time to implement the changes. But, as they're getting implemented, we're noticing a little bit of time there that very quickly gets taken up with something else, but it does free you up to focus on more bigger picture things than sort of weighing you down with manual assignments and profile creations and password resets.
Yeah, password resets.
The bane of everyone's life in SaaS, isn't it?
Absolutely.
So what were Stockport Home's goals for compliance training before you started using Litmos?
So we'll link our people management system to our LMS, that new starters, leavers, movers are automatically added, updated, and deactivated. Again, as well as one, we will have a report that comes out every week. We'll have structural changes, so now we are building the structure into Litmos as well. We need to make sure that everything is correct. So we've got better at that. I mean, that's relatively, I suppose, the last 12 months, a new thing as well that we've done. Again, we have created the training needs matrix for absolutely every role within Stockport Homes. So we have over about 700 colleagues currently at the moment as well. So quite a lot of roles we have to go out to, a lot of discussions, meetings, back and forth. I've still got some meetings this week just to fine tune a few of them as well, just to make sure they are right before we go sort of gung-ho into the system as well.
And the next step is to do a gap analysis. So we're going to look at those roles and go out to the colleagues and see what they've got, what they've not got, and then we can look at planning our future budgets around what's necessary. And we've got a system that can show us what we need and help us to prioritise based on how many people need it. Is this going to be a large-scale project? Do we need to concentrate just on this team or just on this role? And we can really, really shape and bespoke what we're offering going forwards as well, whether that's an e-learning package or if it's face-to-face or if it's a longer-term qualification as well.
Yeah, it's really going to help because some teams will need very similar training as well. So this gap analysis at the click of a button will bring that to the fore as well. So straight away we'll be able to have a look at similar teams, and then we can get our skates on, can't we, and look at the potential offerings and the costing and workforce planning. Obviously the financial year as well in April isn't too far away, so we need to make sure we've got money for the upcoming year as well.
Sounds like a lot of plans are in the works then.
Always.
Absolutely.
So what have your sort of compliance wins been so far? You mentioned damp mold and condensation, but it'd be good to hear about maybe the compliance percentages as well.
Absolutely. So for the courses that we've added the compliance rules to, our organisational compliance based on having around 700 employees is between 96 and 98%. Wow. So damp mould and condensation being the prime example, it was necessary for regulation change. It's a topic that isn't readily available as learning elsewhere, and that is achieving 98% compliance. So everybody is bought into the importance of it, and we've really utilised Litmos to help us get that far.
It was like the acid test as well. You know, can we get as close to 100%? I don't think we'll ever will in line with maternity leave, long-term sickness, or whatever reason. But we're as good as pretty much there, where we have left no stone unturned. So we've got everyone that we need to at the moment as well. But yeah, between 96 and 98% in comparison to some organisations that I speak to. I mean, that's brilliant. So
yeah. I think our aim was about 80 to 85%, and we said we'd be very, very happy if we got that high. And then it started creeping slowly past it and higher and higher. And the little compliance dashboard that you can access really easily from the admin dashboard page, you can just click and have a look, and it's right. Okay, we're 98% today, and tomorrow we're still there. But it does update in real time, which makes it really easy to sort of track, especially when you initially launch something. And you're sort of slowly watching that number rise as people are doing the learning. It can be a bit nerve-wracking to begin with, and you're going, oh, we're only at 25% and it's been out a week.
You can become obsessed, can't you, with the figures where you're actually chasing more actively because you can see it. So you're going out, I've only chased them yesterday, but I want to do it again today. But I've got
walking through the office saying, have you done your e-learning? Quick, get it done, get my numbers up. But yeah, so we've used it for compliance in terms of, the legal requirements and the regulatory requirements, but we've also done it for optional learning opportunities. So we're really proud. We did Neurodiversity Awareness Month earlier in the year. So this was back in April, and it was led by our wellbeing partner. And we used Litmos to really help with that. So we did some face-to-face and some online workshops, but to really support that for people who potentially couldn't attend or would rather learn a different way, we created a learning path that had 12 different courses in it. And if you completed the first 3, sorry, it had 9, not 12. If you completed the first 3, you would get a bronze badge using the gamification feature. If you did the first 6, you got a silver badge. And if you did them all, you got a gold badge. And then people, depending on the badge that they earned, were entered into a prize draw to then win prizes. And we had a winner from each of those. So it was good to put those different levels in. We also did an initiative similar for our Customer Voice Month, so Customer Engagement and Customer Voice Month, where people scored points depending on how many modules they completed within the course. and you got extra points if you completed all 5 of the modules, and then it became a team activity. So your team's points were all added up, and we had a leaderboard that was announced every week in our weekly newsletter, and we could see teams actively competing against each other, so seeing who was top of the leaderboard and wanting to knock them off the leaderboard. And then the winning teams at the end of the month were treated to lunch, so there was a bit of an incentive on that one as well. And then similarly in May we did a mental health awareness month with optional courses using the 60-second skills. So there's some 1-minute courses that are really good around sleep habits and eating at your desk, and there's all sorts of different content that we put into that, along with sort of longer overviews and awareness courses, and we had really high levels of engagement. So I think our engagement on the neurodiversity awareness was about 407 colleagues. So it's huge. It was, it was about 57%. So
bearing in mind it was all optional as well. So
completely optional.
We've not pushed it in terms of you have to do this, going into your team meeting. It's a case of this is what you should want to do, and we would like you to do it. But again, I think we're setting the bar when we're doing like the reg stuff with damp mold and condensation. They're all getting used to signing on to it. They're doing the previous months. So mandatory learning, you've got the neurodiversity, then moving into the next one. So they are competing, and like I say, you've got the same teams and the managers there, haven't you? Really looking forward to when's the next one, so that you compete against somebody down the office.
I find nothing sparks interest in learning more than a prize draw.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You've got to get that sort of growth, growth mindset, haven't you? Changing the education mindset about the business and having people more excited about learning. As you said, John, they're logging in for the damp mold and condensation. They're keen to log into Litmos again, so they will log back in for the optional content.
Yeah. So again, Litmos is becoming more and more sort of embedded in our culture now. We're getting requests from heads of service in line saying, can you do something for us, for example? So we had a team recently who wanted some bespoke training, but in terms of the subjects, in their own words, it was dry, is what they were mentioning. So we've got this, but in terms of learning development part, can you do something with it? So again, it was like, we can go into Litmos, we can do this. We've got, like I say, we've got the polls, we can create it a bit more bespoke here. We put some quizzes in there. And in the end, they've gone away and come back again, haven't they? With sort of more thought as well. So again, we've got to make sure that it's accessible for many of our colleagues. So again, going back on the tablets, the phones, the laptops.
Additionally, we've got some EDI networks, so equality, diversity and inclusion networks, so they're colleague groups. So we'll ask them to sort of look over the content to make sure that it's inclusive, and we've got some real good processes that are being embedded to really make Litmos part of our learning culture. And hopefully with our plans for the one-stop shop going forwards, we're going to be putting more on there for people to want to log in and have a look at what's happening. And I know Litmos are releasing loads of new features like the AI, and it's how can that sort of fit in with our culture? How can we best utilise that as well?
Yeah, courses you may like, courses that may be interested to your role kind of thing, where in the past they might just left it behind, where I've done what I need to do, or I've looked for time management course, for example, and I've not really thought about something else. So some of the new features, when we hear them, our sort of ears prick up, and we're like, oh, what's this?
Well, we can definitely help you out with a call all about all the new features if you like. Little peek behind the curtain for everyone listening. AI playlists is the next one up. So exactly that, recommending stuff for you.
Exciting.
So obviously there's a lot of change happening in housing, particularly with all of the new regulations underway and with the professionalization of the industry coming up. So do you have any examples of how you've prepared for the new housing compliance regulations?
Yeah, so at the moment we're sort of in planning stages. We're looking at how we need to implement. The regulations are looking at both competence and conduct. So competence in the form of professional qualifications, the certificate in housing, very similar to that, but also conduct, so behaviour changes and how that can be demonstrated. So we're currently exploring ways that we can have Litmos help us with that. So an example that we did it started around this time last year. We did our delivering service excellence project, which was around customer service, and that took a real blended approach. So it was a full day training class session, but it was sort of sandwiched between some e-learning. So there were some welcome modules that sort of introduced the learning, asked people for their input and their feedback that was then built into the course when they turned up on the day. So there were real examples that people had told us.
Like what was good customer service, what was bad customer service, what you're expecting from the course, what we're going to go through as well with you.
So we could use their feedback and their input to help shape the course and, make it feel relevant. And then off the back of that, there were modules to complete afterwards that asked people to set an action plan that was 3 points that they take away from the learning, and then they reviewed it a month later and then 3 months after that.
But we could time release it all as well. So rather than somebody going into it on the day after the training or the day after and just getting rid of it for a tick box, you couldn't. It would be time released after a month. What have you learned, for example? And then we'll revisit and then come back in 3 months. So it's a longer piece of learning rather than just to get rid of it in your compliance.
And it worked quite well, and it's those kinds of approaches that we're looking at, using those functions and the things around timed release and due dates and compliance, where you can really shape it instead of having to email everybody on the first of the month and say, right, you need to do your 1 month review now. That system does it all for you, and you can just tell it what you want and it goes away and does it, and it's sort of off your desk a little bit at that point, and you keep an eye on it, make sure it's going forwards, but it's gone.
And in line with uploading documents, again, we weren't fully aware, we can put certificates in there, upload all the documents for that project as well. So if they then pass, the accreditation, we can attach it to the module as well. So it's all in one place for the manager, again, to sit back, I suppose, with the colleague and in their one-to-ones, as a prime example, to review that you've done everything, and it's all on there. So it's a one-stop shop again for our learning.
Perfect. So imagine that make a big difference when you're looking to sort of prove conduct over a period of time.
Yeah, 100%. We've had a few challenges, I suppose, when trying to get access to certain documents, not just in line with the professionalisation of the sector, but in other areas as well, where it might be housed by a manager on their own drive, for example, or in another system that perhaps we haven't got access to as well. So we want to really sort of pull it all into one place, and then when we get asked the question, we can go, actually, what? Yeah, we do have this, and we can review it as well.
Brilliant. So have you got any sort of general best practice tips for anyone else out there who's looking to run their own compliance program?
For me, we get on the dojo, because it was good. It was exciting, I suppose, in a way. It's done in a very fun way as well. So you don't mind, I've done one module, I'll do another one actually while I'm here, and it's quite clear, and the way it's broken down as well will show you. And because you can go back on it again, like when I got into the content authoring tool for the damp mold and condensation, there'll be things that I have forgot because I might have reviewed it a week or two ago, but then I'm like, actually, that was on the dojo, go back into it again, and then it'll be there, laid out in a very simple format for myself. And then, just give us the sort of the power to not, sort of ask, yourself, Stephen or Vicky, just need a bit of help. We can help ourselves.
I think for me, it would be getting buy-in from the wider business, or getting the executive leadership team on board, our heads of service, and using the functions within the system to show how much easier it can make life. You've got that data right in front of you. I've set this up so that you can see it. You can assign this course to the colleagues on your team without needing to come to me. But if you need me, you know where I am. And I think that's been really, really useful. And, as I said earlier, we're setting up learning paths with welcome videos from people in our executive leadership team who are really passionate about those subjects. And I think it really helps as a learner, if you start that learning journey and see that your chief executive really cares about this subject, it helps you to become more engaged with that. And I think that's been really, really key for us. We look for that inspiration. And, you know, as humans, we're inquisitive, aren't we? And it makes you want to learn when you see other people are championing it.
Yeah, 100%. So we've had obviously the Northwest Litmos event in Trafford not too long ago, Stephen, where it's just good getting the idea from other organisations, obviously out of housing completely, and the way they bespoke their Litmos to their organisations. And we mentioned at the start, we've got some arms of Stockport Homes, such as Skylight and 360 in our construction and maintenance. And we've got big plans in 2025 to do, if you want to call it a rebrand, a relaunch. So when people go into it, they can see clearly what's sort of relevant to them in those areas as well, rather than just being sort of the way it's just been left at the moment. We're continually building everything.
Talking of events in the Northwest, we are hosting our own with Paul Cooper from Litmos. So that's been confirmed for the 28th of November. So it'd be great if anyone watching is able to attend. It will be in the Stockport area. But yeah, it'd be great to see people there, to see what you're doing with your system, see how we can learn from each other, because I come back from those events with cogs turning and we can do this will look fantastic, and you get a lot of inspiration.
And the train station is literally 2 minutes across the road there as well, with loads from Manchester City Centre as well, whether it be train or bus journey, for example. But 28th we'll be there as well. Yeah, yes. We'll be here.
We will indeed.
I'll see you there.
Hope so.
Thank you again for hosting that. We really, really appreciate it. I think we are in total agreement with you that it's one of the most important things that we do is, putting customers in front of each other, letting people share these ideas. And I think it helps us all grow, really.
Absolutely.
Speaking of which, what is the future looking like then for Stockport Homes? I heard your 20th anniversary next year.
It is the 20th anniversary. Yes. Some big plans in line with the successes that we've mentioned today on little bits as well. We've got, again, sort of the idea wheel spinning at the moment with what we can do in line with Litmos. We only even started on Friday, wasn't it? The sort of the building of the training matrices into Litmos as well. So that's definitely coming. So we can then start doing that gap analysis sooner rather than later as well. And we're hoping then in line with the announcements with the professionalisation of the sector and so on, we've got an idea of where we want to be. But again, it's really advantageous to have a system like Litmos there helping us out along the way as well.
Yeah, and we're starting to see it be mentioned more in meetings that we're in, and people are really looking at it as a solution without us even need to mention it at all. It used to be me singing about Litmos in the meetings, and now people are sort of coming to me and saying, we've got this idea, do you think it could be done? And if I don't know the answer, I say, leave it with me, I'll come back to you once I've had a look at the dojo. So we've got we've got big plans in terms of rolling it out across more of our subject matter experts to get more content on there. And we want to use it for a bit of fun as well. It is our 20th birthday next year. Can we use Litmos as part of our celebrations for that? It's got those gamification features. Can we use it to try and drum up some interest? Our usage on a monthly basis has already increased. I think it was about 2,000% over the last year. About 4 times on average a month. What we're logging in compared to what are logging in now, and we'll see people accessing the system to do courses that aren't mandatory, that they want to do, and that's really good to see that people are going to that as a learning resource instead of it being a Jade and John telling me that I have to go on it and do this. It's now becoming there might be a good course on there.
I've done a good course. Have you been on there? And recommend it to the team manager, and and so forth as well. Because you will get some people who are very keen, obviously, to search out. And we have got a big library as well with Litmos as well. So neurodiversity, we're just picking off what you guys have got already and then putting it together. So that really helps us kick it off with minimal fuss as well.
Absolutely. Brilliant. Just keep growing, keep building on what we're doing, and keep utilising what Litmos are launching.
Well, I'm sure we can definitely help you build something really exciting for the anniversary event next year. But yeah, sounds like you're already doing fantastically well, quadrupling the usage. It's really brilliant engagement. I think that's sort of drawing towards an end. We promised 10 minutes for for some Q&A at the end. But I'm going to hand back on to Liz if connection issues are letting her.
Yeah, I can hop on for a second. I will stay off camera just to make sure that I don't get disconnected again. Wanted to give a quick plug for upcoming virtual events for Litmos. We have a webinar with our Chief Learning Officer and a thought leader in the learning space called The Learner is Always Right, Improving the Customer Experience with Microlearning. 22nd. You can find that at the Litmos website under our resources page. And then you'll also see if you are highlighted in our 2024 Lenny Awards Customer Showcase. It'll be a really fun time. That's going to be on LinkedIn Live on November 13th. And if you're a customer and you'd like to submit your organization, the deadline for that's coming up on October 2nd. So keep that in mind as well. And you can also follow us on LinkedIn to come back to this very recording and rewatch the stream. So thanks everyone for joining again. And I'll pass it over to the Q&A portion. I think, do you want to just go to the next slide, Stephen, and we can, thank you. Yeah, so we have some more information here, but I think we do have at least one question that I saw. It was from, let me pull it up. It was from Katrisa, who commented that her organization is vetting LMS solutions for compliance training. So what I wondered is if Jade and John could give Teresa, who are in the process of researching compliance training options. For folks on what to look for or what you would recommend if they're in the process of researching.
I would definitely say, utilize the resources at Litmos. So the customer service managers, the salespeople, they do know a lot of the features, luckily, of what they're selling. But I think that's been really helpful. And if you do get access to, a free trial, look at the courses that are on offer. There's a lot already in there. There's a lot that's being developed. If there are any sort of webinars like this or similar where you can see what new is coming, we're very lucky that we get to meet with some of the development teams. So I think the development manager comes to the events that we've been to in the Northwest, and he'll give us updates on what's coming, what's being developed at the moment, and that, especially in terms of compliance training, if we've got a question, this new law's coming in, this new regulation, we know that we can go to Litmos and say, are you creating this or do we need to? Because, housing is a small fish in a very big pond in terms of compliance. So not everything can be created commercially, but we know that we've got that avenue to sort of explore what is being created. Can we build off of that, or shall we use our content author tool and create it ourselves? Don't be afraid of making it yourself. Is another good tip.
Yeah.
Great advice. Yeah. I do have another comment from Rianne asking, have you got the details on the event for the November 28th meetup? They'd love to attend.
Absolutely. So if you contact Paul Cooper at Litmos, he'll be able to give you further details, but it's being held at the Stockport Homes office in Stockport on the 28th of November, 12 till 3. And the previous sessions have been really interactive, people showcasing what they're doing. It's a real sort of channel for customers to sort of say, I don't know what to do with this, what would you recommend, and sort of share best practice between each other.
You'll get a bit of inside knowledge, won't you, as well, of again what Litmos are doing, and his refreshments as well, Stephen?
Yeah.
Absolutely. So you get a free lunch too.
And I believe we've had sort of customers previously and also potential customers, so that you can see and hear from people who are using the system what works really well, what doesn't work so well, and the people there from Litmos can help you to maybe do it better or do it a different way, or tell you what's in the pipeline to really enhance what you're doing.
Great. I think one other question that I saw come in was about just scaling compliance programs. Like, if you're a smaller team, or if you're from a smaller organization size, really, how do you get buy-in from leadership and scale up and really get that culture of compliance going?
It's not easy. I mean, it's something you've got to work on. So it's communication. You've got to let them know, not just overnight you're going to get just emails from a system. You've got to make people aware, look into potential of perhaps running some sort of like workshops or drop-in sessions, get the buy-in from loads of different areas, let them know it's coming. And then once you've got all the groundwork in, it should just flow a lot easier. But yeah, there's no sort of quick and simple answer, I suppose, of.
Yeah, I think we've done it quite a good way in that we've used Litmos for both compliance and mandatory learning, but also we've put some fun in there and the gamification and the optional courses. And I think when senior leadership teams and executives see that people have that desire to learn and the logging in and doing that learning without someone saying you absolutely must do this, I think that really helps build that culture and develops sort of from that perspective.
I think taking ownership as well, putting the managers there on the teams. So again, they will get the reminders after a period of time. They must chase before coming to us where we'll get the final say. But then you'll have the top in effect going who's on the hit list, I suppose, of who's not done it. So there better be a legitimate reason.
Yeah, and sort of like on a quarterly basis, the compliance is shared with the directors so that they can see it from their directorate how their levels of compliance are changing. But we also show them how the other directorates are doing as well, so that there's a bit of healthy competition between
again.
the directorates. So, your directorate might be 92% compliant, but this one's 98%. So what shall we do to get your directorate up? And
what are they doing that we're not doing?
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
And John and I work in a partnership approach. So John's partnered with part of the business, I'm partnered with the other part. And we're really trying to get into our areas to learn more about what makes them tick. Does the gamification work for them? Would it be better if we had people come to a drop-in session where they can sit with us and go through the learning and do it through Litmos that way? So I think it's about bespoking it, communicating it well, and making it fun.
Yeah, I love that. It's communication and feedback, and I love that you have gamification throughout, even for your leadership, right? You're talking about chasing numbers, and everybody loves a little bit of healthy competition. So I think that's a great practice. I don't think there are any other questions that I'm seeing on the comments, so maybe we wrap it up. And thank you all so much for taking the time to join us and discuss compliance, and thanks for your time.
No, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, John and Jade. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, see you later.
Bye-bye.